Melissa has been absolutely great, along with the rest of the library, and allowing me to help set this up. Hopefully, goal of this is just to help you all hopefully get some more knowledge, and then if you need some more specialized conversation or something like that, to speak with your financial professional, whomever that may be. And so for those who do not know me, my name is Brandon Miles. I work with Robert W. Baird here in Janesville. I'm a financial advisor with them. Our office is right on the corner of Main and Milwaukee. All the roads are being tore up around it as we speak right now. And come on in. And I previously have worked in St. Louis for a few years with another large financial services institution. I'm originally from Monroe, Wisconsin, so not too far away. My wife is from Milton and got a job teaching at her middle school, where she used to teach, so she's really happy. So we came back to Janesville last summer, and things are going great. So with that being said, let's jump right into it. This is actually a presentation from one of my wholesalers called Transamerica. They do a great job. But I have to read their disclosure, as fun as it is. So we'll see how fast I can do this. So Transamerica is prohibited by law from providing tax or legal advice. As required by the IRS, we inform you that this material was not intended or written to be used and cannot be used to avoid penalties imposed under the Internal Revenue Code. This material is written to support the promotion or marketing of the products, services, and/or concepts addressed in this material. Anyone to whom this material is promoted, marketed, or recommended should consult with and rely solely on their own independent advisors regarding their particular situation, the concepts presented here. Neither Transamerica nor any of its financial professionals provide tax or legal advice. You should consult a qualified tax advisor for questions regarding your particular situation. Whew. Okay, now that the fun part's over. So really, why are we here today? And Social Security, hopefully everybody has an opportunity to collect on it within their lives. It's a great government welfare program that we do, but it does have its issues. And as you can see, 37 million people are currently receiving Social Security benefits right now. 73% of those people receive reduced benefits. And what I mean when I say reduced benefits is less than what they could earn if they collected at their full retirement age. And I'll get into all this. This will become a lot more clear as we move on. Big concern for, I'm sure, a lot of you, and as well as the Social Security Administration, is that people are living so much longer than ever before. So what does that mean towards the viability of Social Security in the future? And for people who are living longer and need longer incomes in their retirement, how can they best maximize Social Security to get that? And then what are the options for those people who can afford to wait? So maybe if you're working till 67 and you don't have to take Social Security early, what are your options to fully maximize your payout? So we'll talk a bit about each of these topics today. Social Security, you might also have heard old age survivor disability insurance. Is effectively the same concept. Old age survivor disability insurance has a few more concepts to it that we won't get into, but they're pretty interchangeable in American context. So really the big question is, why do so many people collect Social Security as soon as possible? At age 62, a lot of people, I'm sure you know or have, collect their first paycheck and really happy about it, and some people probably just frame it and don't even cash it. And if you don't need the income immediately from it, what can we do? Let's jump into these conversations. So as I mentioned about life expectancies, so if you're age 65 and you're in good health, you're a non-smoker, based on actuarial tables, there's a 50% chance that a male will live till age 85, female 88, and one of the two people in a couple till age 92. 30 years ago, those numbers were not those numbers. There is a 25% chance the male will live till 92, the female till 94, and one of the two live till 97. So with this, we see, especially as a financial advisor, you see your older clients and people you run across really struggling. A big primary concern to a lot of people is, okay, I don't want to run out of money. That would be the last thing. Have to move in with the kids or whatnot. So how can our strategy of taking Social Security help ease our thoughts on this matter? I think it's a very important part. So going over the agenda again, we're going to talk about Social Security, how it relates directly to your retirement. Common questions associated with it, including, we'll talk a little bit about Social Security programs, viability going forward. I'm sure you all hear terrible things in the news that it's not going to be around and things of that nature. And then the strategies to help maximize benefits. At this point, I will say as well, if questions come up, please ask them as they come. It's kind of a long presentation, so I don't want you to have to hold on to it till the final draw. So just a little background. This is Ida Mae Fuller. She was the first individual to receive a monthly benefit check. She was not the very first individual to receive a check, but when they switched to monthly benefits. She ended up living until the age of 100 and collected over $22,000 in benefits, which is quite a bit when her first check was only $22.54, so just kind of a cool situation there. And really how Social Security began, FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, he wanted a social welfare program to help protect people from poverty, especially right after the Great Depression had happened. And so to help them through their old age, so a lot of people were having to go back to work or live with their families and things like that, he established Social Security. And Ida Mae Fuller was one of the first benefits, and as you can see, it worked very well for her. So controversy's always been associated with this program, and it always will be, and it should be nothing new. Early controversies, critics from especially large newspapers at the time really disliked the program. The most notorious, one of the newspaper editors said that every U.S. citizen, so we have Social Security cards obviously, back then they didn't know how they would implement the system, so he said that every citizen was going to have to wear a dog tag to track them, but we found out the Social Security card method, so nobody actually had to wear a dog tag. There is one dog tag that was created for the head of the Social Security Administrator who showed, William Randolph Hearst was the gentleman's name, that not everybody would have to be implemented with a dog tag. So that's kind of an interesting story behind it. But controversy has stemmed from the very get-go of the program, and as you all know, it currently is seeped in the controversy once again. Attempts to abuse Social Security has always been fun. This lady right here is a secretary in a company that had they were promoting a wallet that they were selling. And Social Security cards had just become the norm, and so they wanted to show how the Social Security card fit perfectly in your wallet. And what they accidentally did was they printed the article and the advertisement with her Social Security card in it. And so to this day, over 40,000 people have since filed for benefits using her Social Security number. So she became very familiar with the IRS, another interesting story. And I think there's still people today trying to use her number. Kind of ironic. Okay, so let's get into kind of the meat and potatoes of it all. This is a general source of income for people age 65 and older. As you can see, it's filled with many different income benefits. Social Security makes up the greatest portion of the average American's retirement income, roughly 35%. As we see now too, with pensions getting fewer and fewer or shrinking or going by the wayside altogether, something else is going to have to help pick up the slack. People are always saving for their own retirement. Sometimes that can't do it either. So is it going to have to be Social Security that's going to have to start providing more than a third of a person's income? Imagine if pensions go by and Social Security gets cut to roughly 25% of income. There's going to be an even greater shortfall for retired Americans in the future. And this is something the government is very aware of, which is another reason why we don't think that Social Security will be cut and reduce people's income who are already on it. 13%, that 35% has increased by 13% since 1962. So over a long time, people have been relying on Social Security more and more. Will that be the trend in the future? We don't know. Obviously, the program has never had the concerns it has today, so it might not be. But it has been a reliable way to put away dollars. Let's see here. Okay. So a lot of questions that clients have with me, or just general people, are big one, will Social Security still be there for me, especially if it's a younger individual? It's a great concern. How are your benefits determined, especially for people who are going to collect Social Security or are already collecting? When you can understand that, it helps put the whole program into a better perspective. And we'll talk about each one of these today. How do I decide when to collect? Probably one of the biggest financial decisions you will make in your life. Compared to somebody who collects at 62, there are ways, and I see people do this all the time, where they didn't need to collect at 62 and they cost themselves hundreds of thousands of dollars. So we'll show you some simple concepts today to realize some break-even points and things along that line to hopefully maximize your own Social Security.
I don't hear very well. repeat that again?
Yes.
Exactly what you said.
So deciding when to collect, we see a lot of people who aren't familiar with Social Security collecting as early as age 62, when they don't necessarily need the income, and if they would have waited till later on to collect, either at 67 or even 70, depending on their own personal situation, they cost themselves hundreds of thousands of dollars. And we'll get to that later on in the presentation. I'll put it, but it's a large amount of money. It's kind of scary when you think about, okay, when should I time to take this? Spousal benefits are another interesting strategy that you can take that a lot of people don't know about, that we'll talk briefly about. And how do survivor benefits work in case a spouse passes away? Extremely important. So the bottom line, and this is from the Social Security Trustees Program report. So this report is from the people who manage the Social Security Administration. It's supposed to be as unbiased as possible. No fear-mongering from a newspaper or a news source at all involved in this. Reserves projected to pay full benefits until 2033. So if nothing's done, everybody will keep getting their current check until 2033. So while it's something we need to start considering, within the next even decade, Social Security is not going to have a problem. After that, trust income is projected to cover up to 72% of current people's benefits, all the way up until 2088. Now, if you're on a fixed income and Social Security is paying up to 35% of your retirement lifestyle, that's a scary number to see, even 72%. And so by then, I'm sure something will be done where current people who are collecting are grandfathered into a new program if that's the route they choose to go. But as it is, it's not as dire as I think the news wants you to think it is. And then putting it into perspective, 55, if you're 55 today, you won't have to worry about your benefits being affected until you're 73 at the earliest. So we still have some time to fix the program if that's what we need to do.
What, I got a question.
Yeah.
What if you're like 62 now and it says her benefits are being affected until the age of 70? How old would you have to be before you start worrying about it if you're 62 today?
So 2033, so roughly 7 years, so about 80.
About 8 years?
80. So when you reach about 80, yep, if you're 62.
And you said they'll probably have something else at that time. Is that what you said?
That would be my best guess, and I'll go into a little more depth as we go. Obviously, nobody knows for certain. I think it would be a politician's nightmare to drastically affect the people who are currently receiving Social Security. I doubt many of them would want to vote for a politician who wants to cut their current income, and that's a significant percentage of the voting class. So that's where I see things at. Okay. And so the challenges that we probably all have heard about facing the programmer. We see the baby boomers are always straining the reserves. People are living longer, as we saw in those life expectancy tables from earlier. But the big issue is the ratio of beneficiaries to workers is shrinking, and shrinking a lot. When the program was first instituted, the ratio was even greater than 5.1. So what this really means is, so in 1960, 5.1 workers were supporting each beneficiary on Social Security. Today, roughly 2013, there's only 2.8 workers supporting each person on Social Security. And that number is supposed to continue to decrease into the future. And so workers aren't paying enough into Social Security to help current people who are collecting, beneficiaries, continue to collect at their amount. And that's why the trust fund is losing money. The Social Security Trust Fund had a large surplus for much of its life. And they were reinvesting that money then to keep growing the trust fund until this severe beneficiaries ratio started shrinking. And that's a factor of the baby boomer population, but also the fact that people are living longer, living far into their 80s, even their 90s, on a much more frequent basis. So the question is, what can we do to fix the program, right? So what are some possible changes we can institute to make sure that the program is viable and safe in the future? We could increase Social Security tax rates. Touchy subject, but it's a method they could choose to employ. We could have a higher maximum of earnings subject to Social Security tax. So Currently, I forget the exact number that's capped at, but they could increase the maximum. So if it's capped at, I'll put an arbitrary number like 200,000 out there, and you make $500,000, those last 300 you're not paying a Social Security tax on. They can up that 200,000 to maybe 300,000 to collect a little more Social Security revenue from those individuals. Increase of the full retirement age, which we'll be diving into here in a minute, what that is. Decrease of future retirement benefits, which would probably not affect people who are currently collecting Social Security. I would imagine that everybody currently collecting, whatever changes they apply with regards to benefits, those people should feel pretty confident that they're going to be grandfathered in for sure. Reduction of future cost of living adjustments. Social Security tries and keep pace with inflation. It doesn't quite, but they are trying to provide you more money as the years go by. And that's another option where they could potentially not do that in order to save the trust some additional revenue. So let's start figuring out how the benefits are determined. So a couple concepts that you need to be familiar with, we'll use a lot in this presentation, you'll hear a lot out in the news and the public, is full retirement age. Full retirement age, we'll go over the specific dates. If you were born, I believe it's 1960 or later, your full retirement age is 67, and that's the amount where you will receive your primary insurance amount, or PIA. So at your full retirement age, your PIA is, the amount you receive is your primary insurance amount. So when they're referring to that number, they're saying if you took Social Security at whatever your full retirement age is designated, that's the amount of money you're going to get on a per monthly basis.
Could you say that again, please?
Yep. So full retirement age, depending on your birth year, but if your birth year is 1960 or after, and if it's before that, it goes down by months. But if it's 1960 or after, your full retirement age is 67. And I will have a graph that will come up here in a slide or two that will show you exactly where your full retirement age. Your primary insurance amount, or your PIA, is the monthly benefit you receive at your full retirement age. Does that make it a little more clear? Okay. Okay. So how can you even be eligible for Social Security? Most people here probably are. You need to, the Social Security Administration measures eligibility by credits, and you can typically get four credits per year. So it's roughly working for 10 years of your life, and you will become eligible to receive your own Social Security. I believe to get one credit, you have to earn $1,220. And so if you earn roughly over $5,000 in a year, you'll get your four credits per year. 10 years later, you're eligible for Social Security. This only matters for qualifying for the program. Nothing else. It doesn't matter how much money you're getting from the program. It just matters to qualify for the program. That's a common misconception that people have. Your primary insurance amount, or your PIA, it's based off the highest 35 years of your earning history. So not your whole work history, only 35 years of it. And this only relates to individual benefits. You can still be eligible for spousal or survivor benefits depending on your situation. I'll give you an example. I have a good friend whose wife had only worked for 9 years, so he was always trying to get her to work for one more year, so she's eligible for Social Security. But then they found out they can do a different strategy where he can file and suspend, and she can collect half of his Social Security. So she found out a way to not have to work anymore, which was good for her. Okay, so can you estimate what your benefits will be? Great question. You can. If you're younger than age 60, you no longer get an annual statement in the mail. This was an initiative from the administration to help save money, to hopefully push back that date when they have to cut benefits, to not mail out statements anymore. However, statements are available online at ssa.gov/mystatement. ssa.gov is actually a really, really handy, pretty user-friendly website. They've done a really good job with that. You need your Social Security number, obviously. You can type that in with your name, and you can find out what your exact benefit amount would be if you retired today and were eligible. So it's a really handy tool that you can use when looking at your overall financial picture.
Can you explain explain the top line again?
Sure.
At age 60, you don't get them anymore?
Here we go.
Or if you're not working, you don't get them.
Correct. So if you're younger than age 60, you will no longer receive it in the mail. You can access it online. So do you remember how they used to send it to the mail?
The only when I worked.
Okay, so not working. Are you collecting?
No.
No. If you're younger than 60, you shouldn't be getting it in the mail anymore. You should have to go online. Do you still get in the mail?
That's if I get mail or a computer. That's the question. I know people my age, they don't want to run a computer.
Yeah, and that was one of the big kind of public outcries when they did institute that. As I said, it strictly was a budget cost-saving measure where they said, okay, we're going to have to pay for millions of less stamps and paper and things of that nature so that it could help the fund go on longer. So you do have to access it on the computer now if you're younger than age 16, which is a hindrance for some people for sure. Okay, so let's look at how benefits are determined. So the very maximum monthly benefit that you can receive, if your full retirement age is 66 in 2015, is that very bottom row, 2,663. As you can see, the vast majority of people, virtually everyone, does not receive that benefit. The average benefit for just one retired individual is just 1,328, so roughly half of that. And the average for a retired couple is only 2,176
That's
per
a year,
person.
right?
What's that?
Is that a year?
This is a monthly benefit. Yep. So this is saying the absolute most, if you're a very high earner within your life, you can earn is $2,663 per month. The average for an individual who's retired is only $1,328 per month. So there's a big gap here. And the question is there a way where we can close that gap through different Social Security strategies? And the answer is yes. It's an emphatic yes. But a lot of people don't realize these strategies, and so they collect a lot less than they might potentially have to, which is what we want you to be able to get to, hopefully, today. So there's several different ways when you can start collecting your Social Security benefits or that monthly check that you get. You can get full benefits at full retirement age, which I will show you what your full retirement age based on the year you're born at. You can start getting benefits as early as age 62. The first full month you reach age 62, my birthday is December 6th. December 1st, when I'm 62, when I will be 62, I could technically start getting a Social Security check, albeit at a less percentage than if I waited until I was 67, because 67 is my full retirement age. You can increase your benefits over the amount you would get at your full retirement age if you delay it past that age. So if my full retirement age is 67, if I choose to not take Social Security till I'm 70, because I think I'm going to live a really long time, my benefits are going to be a lot higher than what they would be if I took them at 67. Yeah.
I talked to someone at the Social Security office, and they were telling me that you could take your, at age 62, you could go ahead and take your benefits, and you might, and they told me how much you would receive. But then they said that if you took it at that age, would you get 900 something thousand a month? Like 5 of those months, you wouldn't get anything. And I wonder, what is that about? 5 a month, if you got it for $962, okay?
Yep.
They said not out of 5 months, it's like it's over or something. Like for 5 months out of those years, out of that year, you wouldn't get anything. What's that about? You know?
Interesting. No, it's probably something regarding a specific individual circumstance. So usually they should be sending you a monthly check. And so what they do is they found out, okay, what is the amount we pay you in a yearly? And then they just divide it by 12 to figure out what your monthly check will be. So that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But you might find out that taking it at 62 is not the best option for you as well, which is what we're getting close to digging into. So the bottom here, we're looking at, so here's years of birth and then corresponding full retirement age. So for me, I was born after 1960, and so my full retirement age is 67. If you were born in 1955, your full retirement age is 66 and 2 months, etc. So that's how we read this graph. And that's as easy as it is to find what your full retirement age is. Filing at full retirement age is one of the common options, probably the second most common option that people do. And it allows you to receive 100% of that primary insurance amount, or PIA. So when you go to when you go to the online website and try and find your benefits, that amount they tell you is going to be your PIA. And so if you have to wait till this full retirement age, depending on your year of birth, to get that each month. Yeah.
And you will receive it from then on then?
Yep.
As long as you live, whether you're working or not?
Yep. So that's just one option. And probably the second most common option is for people to take it at full retirement age. All the options really, this is when I think that a financial professional or whomever you work with is very, very valuable to help you explore when the best timing is for you to take this in correlation with your other investment or retirement assets. So if you get a pension because you worked at GM that started at 60 and you can live off that pension till 70, well, maybe taking Social Security at 70 is great then. If you don't get a pension and you don't have a lot of other assets and you have to start taking Social Security because you couldn't work anymore at 64, well, then you're going to have to start taking at 64. So that's where your own personal financial professional can really add a lot of weight and good advice for you. Option number 2, this is by far the most common. What people do is file early, which is all right. You can claim the benefits, as we've mentioned a few times, as early as 62, but you get them at a reduced rate. So if your full retirement age, so on the left side here we have the full retirement age. So for down here would be me at 67. Here's somebody at 66. This is saying if you take it at 62 and your full retirement age is 66, you get 25% less per month. That's from 62 and then on until you pass than you would if you would have waited till 66. We'll go back to my situation. My full retirement age is 67. So if I choose when I get to 62 to retire and start taking Social Security, I'm going to get 30% less than I would get if I had waited till I'm 67, which is a significant amount, but you are collecting it for 5 additional years. Yeah.
Let's say you're married. Can you collect half of hers, half of mine, making enough income
It's a great question.
to go farther and then
I'm gonna
then collect when I'm 66 in 2 months?
I'm going to write that down because we will be getting to those types of situations a little later. So if you can hold that for me, that would be great. Is that
My
right?
wife is 2 years younger. I know some guys that their wives are 10 years younger.
Mm-hmm. We will
So
get
that
to.
really cuts hers then, right?
What's that? Can you say that last part again?
But say, if you married somebody who's 10 years younger, that really,
It's a lot more difficult. So it's more difficult to do. Yep, because they have to get to 62 as well. Yep.
Does it affect like 401ks or anything, or that's something totally separate, huh?
Separate. Yep. However, how you choose to withdraw from your 401k or pension or whatever it may be interacts closely with your Social Security amount. So they're different pieces of your same financial puzzle, and all your pieces have to go in properly to result in the kind of retirement lifestyle you want. So as a financial advisor, I tell a lot of people, I just put the puzzle pieces together or show you how to put the puzzle pieces together to get to where you want to be.
And that's what we're gonna see.
Yeah, now we'll start getting to some good examples. Here's a question a lot of people have: can I work and still get benefits? So let's say I'm 63, I like my job, I'm still working, but I also want to take Social Security because I can't fathom the thought of potentially never collecting Social Security if I passed away tomorrow. It's a great question. You can. So if you elect to begin benefits prior to full retirement age, again, mine is 67. So if I start taking benefits at 63, you have to be aware of what we call earning limits. So if you surpass these earning limits, you're going to get a reduction of your Social Security check that you could be getting. So what these are, so if I'm under full retirement age and I'm still working and I earn over $15,720 in a year, $1 of my benefits from my Social Security check is withheld for every $2 that I earn from my job above this amount. So if I'm making $60,000, I'm making roughly $45,000 above this amount, I'm getting half of $45,000, $22,500 withheld potentially. Now my check probably won't even be that much. Once you reach full retirement age, so if you reach full retirement age, so if I turned 67 in 2015, $1 of benefits are withheld for every $3. So they changed this from a 2 to a 3 in earnings above this limit. So they increased the limit a lot because I'll be at full retirement age in 2015. So much harder to lose benefits if you're going to be at full retirement age that year than if you're under full retirement age. Now, if tomorrow, my birthday's in December, so let's say tomorrow's December 6th and I just turned 67 and reached full retirement age and I'm still working, the reduction would no longer apply because I'm at full retirement age. Or if I was 70 and still working, reduction would no longer apply because I'm past that full retirement age. So that's why the full retirement age is very important for a lot of different reasons, and this is one of the key reasons why. So if you do choose to start collecting while working, this is a very real thing that you have to be concerned about because you could lose thousands and thousands of dollars a year that you weren't planning on. And once you collect, it's very difficult to change.
If you make too much money, that's what you're saying, right?
Over those limits, yep. Do you want to see them again?
Yes.
Yep. Okay. So if you're full retirement age, which we saw back on those previous charts, let's say 66 for you hypothetically, and you take Social Security tomorrow and you're not 66 yet, if you earn more than $15,720 in a year, you're going to start getting reduced benefits. They're going to start taking money out of your check. Any other questions about that? Yeah.
If your full retirement age is, let's say 66, and then you decide, no, I'm going to work until I get the maximum benefits, let's say 70 years, right?
Yep.
70 years, then you can make as much money without any penalties?
Because you're never
Still
collecting
work?
Social Security? So you chose not to collect till you're
Until
70.
70, and then you can make as much as you
Yep,
want.
then you wouldn't have to worry about it. Exactly.
And then if it's under, like if I were to quit at 60, start collecting at 62, could I still earn $15,720 and not have any penalties?
Exactly, yep.
So I could like work part-time then
Yeah.
and collect? Okay.
And what a lot of people do who do that is they talk to their employer, especially if their employer asks them to keep working or something along those lines. They say, I only want to make $15,500 this year. I do not want to go over that amount because then my Social Security starts getting close to being taken. Great question.
Let's say you have an individual in your family that's disabled. Yeah, I'm talking about this, a child.
Sure.
So, the whole idea is to try to get him off of Social Security disability. How does that affect him if this, say, if he
Yep. So
makes 20,000 or something and
Yeah.
the whole his life, how does that really play into all this?
no, that's a great question. And when it comes to disability,
There's
these
a limit.
generalizations really go out the window, and it's very individualized to your specific situation. Then it's great to meet with both a financial professional one-on-one and even the Social Security Administration to see how these rules interact with your lifestyle then.
Second, there's a limit to how much a family can get. So if he's living with us, do my Social Security, my wife's and his all added together and there's a limit,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep. Yep, and it will determine, it depends on the severity of the disability, and so Social Security will, if it's a more disabled person versus a less disabled person, the more disabled person can get more money versus the person who could work, things of that nature. So it's very individual specific, and if you have questions afterwards, I'll be happy to try and help you out.
Is there something, not just one disability, just push on disability? Because my neighbor's lost his leg in an industrial accident. He was never put on disability until he had a blood disorder and he had diabetes. And right there, that one diabetes incident put him on disability.
And how disability generally works is it depends on what your occupation was. So if your neighbor was a construction worker who now can't work any construction, he has a much greater chance of receiving more disability. If he worked in an office where, you know, mobility didn't matter as much, he wouldn't have a very good chance of getting disability then. If you have additional questions, I'll try and help you afterwards. How's that sound?
I don't know, this is gonna sound silly, but, you know, I lost my job. So is not age a disability? I mean,
Not
working
classified by the
because you're a
government, yeah.
professional, but
Yeah.
in my case where I'm a blue collar worker, you know.
And the government won't classify that as, because they're not supposed to discriminate on
But
age.
I'm
Yep.
just-
Yep. So here's the third option. As I mentioned, option number 2, taking it early, is by far the most common way people take their Social Security. The first option, taking it at full retirement age, second most common. So this is the least common way that people take their Social Security. I would argue that more people should be doing this way. So it's just saying, for those who delay the start of benefits after their full retirement age, so I'll use me as an example again, full retirement age 67, if I start saying I don't want benefits till 68, 69, 70, I get an 8% increase in benefits each year. So in a rough economic time, when the stock market's not doing well, or when you go to the bank right now and you can't get anything on a CD, 8% a year starts to sound really good to some people. So really, one of the greatest financial choices you'll have to make in your life is, when should I collect? Let's see here. So delaying from taking it early at age 62, if I delay till age 70, I get a 76% increase in my monthly check. I go all the way from $750 at age 62 per month to I get a check of $1,320 at age 70 per month. Steep incline. However, some people are probably saying, well, you're collecting the $750 for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years, so you're probably making more money overall here, right? That's when we can do an analysis to see how old do you have to be to where age 70 makes more sense than age 62. And we'll get to that here in a minute. This is another slide just talking about how I kind of mentioned bank CDs. If you can go find 2.5% right now, you need to tell me where you're going, because that would be pretty nice. Saying if you delay your benefits, you're going to get guaranteed, at least till 2033, 8% per year. So it can be, some people use it as an investment vehicle if they don't have to take Social Security to provide for their current income needs. Okay. Probably the most important slide in the whole presentation. How do I decide when to collect? Over here on the y-axis, we get your total benefit amount. So starts at $75,000, goes all the way to $255,000. And here on the x-axis, we have your age from 76 to 85, okay? So this blue line saying I took Social Security at age 62. Right when I could take it, I started taking it. This is where I'm at. This red line, for me, full retirement age is 67, says I took it at 67. This is where I'm at. You can see if I live till age 85, I'm going to be earning more money from taking it at full retirement age than if I took it at age 62. So what we really want to know is, what's this point, this break-even point? How long do I have to live to make taking it at full retirement age, 67 for me, be a better option than taking it at 62? So it'd be 78. So if I think that I'm going to live past age 78, if I go to the graveyard in Monroe where miles have been there for generations and look at the tombstones and see 85, 90, 87, etc., I would say, wow, I don't want to start taking till at least my full retirement age, because I'm going to make a lot more money overall. I'm going to make $235,000 if I pass away at age 85 compared to $195,000. $40,000 difference right there. Now let's look at our third option. What if we take it at age 70? This light blue line here. So what are these break-even points now? So if I'm going to live past age 80 and a half, it's smarter for me to take Social Security at age 70 than at age 62. Then I'm going to start making more money. If I live past age 82 and a half, so if I go walk through a cemetery again and say, I'm going to live till age 90, because every one of my relatives always lived till age 90 at least, I need to take Social Security, all else equal, at age 70, because that's going to give me the maximum benefit. I'm going to earn over $235,000 by the time I'm age 85. And this number is just going to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It'll keep deviating from these numbers as well. So for the average American, if all else is equal, if you think you're going to live past age 82 based on your own health and family genetics and things of that nature, you're going to maximize Social Security, you're going to be taken at age 70, which is what a lot of people don't understand, because there's that risk. They go, well, what if then I pass away at age 75? How much money did I leave on the table? And so there's an inherent risk with that as well. Any question? Yep.
Probably, if you're gonna have probably a majority of older people, they move on, they might take a part-time job, don't make a lot of money. Right there, let's say this individual had a total portfolio of $135,000. He's got to pull out of that account to pay for his living expense at 62.
Until
So you're not even accounting for that.
Yep,
That amount of money is only going to last for 5 years or 6 years. When you're saying that.
Yep. Nope, that's the great point, and that's why I said all else equal, best to take it at 70 if you're going to live till at least 82 and a half. Now, everything is not equal for the average person's portfolio. A lot of people might.
What's the stock market?
Well, so what a lot of
70.
people do is they take it at age 62, and so they say, okay, I need that money because my portfolio is not big enough to sustain me for all those years. So that's one reason why people will start taking it at age 62. The people who we're concerned about are the people who take it at age 62 when they don't have to, when they say, I just want to get my government check because I don't want to pass away without getting any of it. Those are the people that this slide really matters for. If you have to start taking at age 62 or age 65 because you need the income, it's a whole different story. Yep, good point. And then on the bottom here, we get more actuarial tables. If you're a male and you're 65 and you're a non-smoker, you have a 50% chance to live till age 85, so right here. And a 25% chance to live till age 92. If you're a female, chances are even higher. 50% chance you'll live till age 88. So if you can afford to take it at 70, you're going to be making a lot more money. These are actuarial tables. These speak to the generalizations, not your specific situation. But it's just some food for thought for people who don't know how it works. Or I think a lot of people get surprised by these numbers when I've done this in the past. So, deciding when to collect. Here are your other considerations that you mentioned. What's your health situation? If I'm 62 and I have cancer and my doctor says I have 10 years to live at most, then waiting till 70 is not going to be in my best interest. Based on your marital status, and we'll talk a little bit more about filing with your spouse a little bit later and maximizing your benefits that way. What kind of lifestyle expectations you want to live in retirement. If you need to start taking that at 63 because otherwise you can't pay the mortgage on your home, makes things different. How many years have you had in the workforce? Have you got those 40 credits when you're 62? If not, you might have to work till you have your 40 credits before you can collect, because you're not eligible to collect until you have those 10 years in the workforce. And what's your other retirement assets? Are you getting a pension? Are you living off of your 401k then if you retire? Those types of situations. So that's, again, where a financial professional, we put everything, we run a financial plan, put those puzzles together to help you make the best decision for you and your family. Yeah?
You can tell, you're a financial advisor, you probably run into this. How about people that pensions are all pensions reduced at 62 for Social Security when it kicks in? They expect to pull out a certain percentage, of this. Let's say you retire at 54 or something.
Mm-hmm.
You have a certain amount, and then all of a sudden you get to 62, that's reduced. Have you come across that, or?
I have come across it. I have clients who are forced to take Social Security at age 62, and their pension will be reduced by the amount of their Social Security. It's specific on the pension you have.
It's not.
It's not universal, nope, but specific on the pension you have. So some of my clients from the General Motors plant that closed have to take Social Security at 62, and then the difference between what their pension's currently paying them and their Social Security amount, the pension won't pay them anymore. So they won't actually earn any more money once they take 62, but they have to take Social Security. Yep.
Pensions, explain this pension briefly, pension?
Yeah, what a pension is?
Yeah.
Sure. Pension, so if they're much more common, they're starting to go by the wayside because they're a big burden on companies. When you work for a company, and especially if you put in a lot of years with the company, and the company, let's say you put in 25 years for a company's going to say, okay, we didn't necessarily have a retirement plan, or we didn't match the amount you put in the retirement plan. So once you retire, we're going to take a formula. We're going to say you earn $60,000 a year. We'll take a formula on that. And we're going to say, okay, we're going to give you $2,000 a month for the rest of your life. So it's kind of like Social Security, just from a company. Does that make sense? Yep. Good questions.
Is this like insurance annuity? Is this how these companies do it?
For pensions?
Yeah, they go to like an insurance company that sells annuities, and then they invest in it, or they go to, who knows?
They all have their own different strategy. What we found out is that they're not very good at investing their own money, and that's why they have problems. So let's look at spousal benefits. I know we had some questions about that. We'll briefly cover kind of generalized rules again, large scope picture, and then we'll do a couple hypothetical scenarios to help cement them. And one thing I will show you too is one of the financial planning programs we use. So this is a completely made up situation, so don't worry about anything like that. And this is our financial program, and we took these clients through a financial plan, and we said, okay, what can we do to maximize your Social Security benefit? And so, as you can see right here, this total lifetime benefit, this is saying if they live till the age we put in the program, which let's say is 90, this is how much dollars they would collect in Social Security. So if Jim and Ann both took Social Security at 62 and lived till 90, they'd take $1.36 million in Social Security throughout their lifetime. If they waited till their full retirement age, which for them was 66, they'd receive 1.64. And if they waited at age 70, as you saw that previous slide, you would expect age 70 to probably be the most, 1.9 million. Now, there's more advanced strategies based on individual specific situations, such as this file and suspending over here, which we'll talk about a little bit, but we won't get into in depth because it's pretty complex. And what we saw out of this analysis of the program was this was the way to best maximize their Social Security benefit. This would get them almost $2 million. If we look at 1.9 million compared to if they both took it at 62 and got 1.36 million, we're talking a difference of $600,000 here, just because they did a financial plan or financial professional and understood the numbers and both said, we think we're going to live past that 82.5 mark.
I see on Jim's, he's getting $32,000 a year. That's for the maximum limit they put on they say, when they took Social Security taxes out,
Mhm.
and you reached that limit cap, that's what he's at?
No, this is,
He's gonna get $32,000 a year?
all this number is if Jim takes that 66,
60.
this is his primary insurance amount, because this is what he gets at full retirement age, yep.
Is Ann's half, she's at 62. Did she also do the same thing, but she only getting 17 now?
So she's taking that 62, that's what that's saying, yep.
Yeah, but I mean, she did the same thing Jim did, but he went to 66, but Ann went only to 62.
Exactly.
And that's the difference.
And they have different incomes and things like
Oh,
that.
you got different,
Yep.
okay, I thought everything was the same.
Yep. And so that's just a kind of cool thing that a lot of different financial companies will hopefully do with clients. And if you don't have a financial advisor, that's why we do recommend go with whomever. If you know somebody, great. And this is when they can really prove their worth, because you could be leaving $600,000 on the table, not guaranteed by any means, but you don't want to do that when that could be money that goes to your kids or grandkids or whatever it might be. So spousal benefits. Okay, once again, just general rules. There's many complexities that can go into these, but we just want you to have an overall broad-based understanding. It's important to implement these and plan these properly with a Social Security expert to fully maximize your benefit. Otherwise, you could have several situations that come up. So if you file for spousal benefits at your full retirement age, 67 for me, the spousal benefits equal to 50% of your spouse's primary insurance amount. So we're going to do an example of this, but if I earn a lot more than my wife does, at full retirement age, she might want to apply and get half of what I would get because it could still be more than what she can get. And we'll go into these situations. Rule, you must be age 62 or older to even qualify for spousal benefits. You can't collect benefits on your current spouse's record until he or she files, so they at least have to file. And there's different strategies where you can file and suspend so they're not actually collecting their money. Amount's going to be reduced if taken before your full retirement age, like we've talked about, but it won't increase if it's delayed after. So there's no benefit in this situation for my spouse to delay taking it after full retirement age for me is 67, because she's not going to get any additional money after that time. These rules generally also apply for divorced and deceased spouse benefits. And then for divorce, as long as the marriage lasts at least 10 years and the beneficiary spouse is currently unmarried. For deceased, I think you have to be married 9 months, I want to say, unless like an accident happened earlier than that. Once again, broad-based rules.
The divorce is in addition to the spouse's benefit? In other words, they're both available?
So if you were married for at least 10 years and were divorced, and you wanted, and your spouse was the higher earner, and you weren't currently collected, and your other spouse wasn't married, you could apply to get spousal benefits and get half of what your spouse would have gotten.
What about your current spouse?
Yep.
She also can get the half.
Yep, definitely.
Interesting.
Don't have to be divorced.
Thank you.
Never have to, yep. So let's look at a case study. They're aptly named the Roosevelts after Franklin, I'm sure. So, profiles, Frank, he's married to Ellen. Frank is the higher wage earner. His full retirement age is 66. Ellen, she's the lower wage earner. Her full retirement age is 66. Okay, let's keep these numbers in mind as we move forward. So, these two have a large difference in their earned income. So at full retirement age, Ellen's PIA, or primary insurance amount, is $600 a month. Frank's is $2,200 a month. Big difference. So Frank must have earned a lot more and paid a lot more Social Security tax in his life than Ellen did. So this is a strategy that they could use to help maximize their benefit. So at age 62, what Ellen could do, and once again, this gets very complex, and that's why you talk with a Social Security expert or financial planner. Ellen files for a reduced benefit of $450 per month at age 62, because they see this grand picture that we'll get to here. Frank turns 66, his full retirement age. He files for Social Security, suspends it, so never collects a check, which this now allows Ellen to collect a spousal benefit off of Frank's income, okay? So when Frank does this, Ellen says, okay, she can collect a spousal benefit of $500 in addition to her $450 she had been collecting. So now her monthly benefit's $950. So she got a little bit of a boost. And remember, Frank is still not collecting benefits yet, okay?
But he could be,
He could be, yep.
and she would still get the 500.
Yes,
Thank you.
yep. But Frank wasn't, because he said, I want to wait till 70 because I think I'm going to live over that 82 and a half. My family always lives till in their 90s. So he wanted to wait till age 70. So he starts collecting at 70 and receives a benefit of $2,900 a month, a lot more than his $2,200 a month because he waited. While Ellen's also getting $950 a month because she took it early, and then Frank earned so much more money that she was able to collect more from her spousal benefit on top of her early taking. So her $950 total is bigger than her $600 she could have got if she just waited. So they earned a lot of extra dollars just through this complex strategy they used. Now, Frank passed away before Ellen, so Ellen switches to a survivor benefit. So Frank's amount is bigger than hers, so she can switch to a survivor benefit of $2,900 a month, more than Frank. Very complex, I get it. Take away from this that Ellen was able to increase the amount she received and collected it earlier, while Frank was still able to do what he wanted to, which was wait till age 70 to collect. So this is in text, kind of what I was saying. They begin their income at age 62, so they're maybe not having to draw off their retirement assets. But Frank was still allowed to maximize his benefit by waiting till 70, right? Increased Ellen's monthly benefit over that $600 she would have gotten if she just filed at her full retirement age. So this is known as a file and suspend strategy. Let's go. File and suspend right here. And that's how they were able to maximize their dollars. So that's what that strategy was right there. A little complex, but if somebody is well-versed in Social Security, this is something they should be able to help you figure out how to best maximize this. And Frank had specific goals of, I don't want to take it till I'm 70. And Ellen said, I want to take it earlier. It's worked. So this is a graphical representation of what happened here. So the gray kind of boxes say Frank lives to 75 and Ellen lives to 92. And the maroon colored boxes, Frank lives till 85, Ellen lives till 92. So if they both collected at age 62, took it early, they would have earned $715 to $808. Okay? If they waited till their full retirement ages, which was 66 for them, $807 to $934. And as you can see, it gets higher and higher. And file and suspend ended up has the most potential to get them the most money from Social Security. In every single situation, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if Frank lives to 75 and Ellen lives to 92, still the best option. If Frank lives to 85 and Ellen lives to 92, still the best option. Beats all the other maroon boxes. So that was clearly the best situation for them and their goals. Yeah.
I'm aware of a lady that she was married to a husband for more than 10 years, divorced, married a second husband for more than 10 years, divorced. And then in the end, when she was able to collect the spousal benefit on the first ex-husband,
Sure.
because he earned more, that doesn't make sense to me.
Some people may call it kind of a loophole. It's a rule that's there, and you can use it. Probably their thinking behind it is that she was accustomed to that standard of living for over 10 years of her life. What's that?
How does the husband take this, right? He gets.
Well, they must be amicable if he's allowing her to kind of do that.
Well, he has to allow that?
He doesn't have to allow it, but he can't be married, and so allowed was a poor choice of words, but he can't have a spouse who's doing that as well.
Gotcha.
So it's certain situations. It's kind of weird, though. I completely agree. Yeah.
Yeah, quick question.
Yeah.
Does this suspend strategy that as soon as you get a check, then it's no longer available, or can it be paid back?
Good question. I'm not 100% sure. I have some wonderful Social Security experts in Milwaukee who I get to call on all these things too. I believe there might be a way where if you pay it back, it's all right. If you want to after, just put down your email or number or something. I can look into it for you if that's something you're interested in.
Thank you.
Sorry, I can't answer it at this moment though.
No problem.
Okay.
Well, I mean, you take it at 62, like he said, and you decide, well, you know, we're okay, and, you know, our PSP and all these things are okay.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I should have done it this way back 2 years ago. Can you re-sign up and
So my gut answer to the question is, which might not be 100% correct, is I believe you can within a certain time frame. So if you haven't been collecting it for too long, and if I had to put out a number, I'd say a year. But it's something that I can look into further if you like.
Thank you.
Yep.
How would they do that? Would they just take out your benefits?
You'd probably have to write the
Take a
Social
certain
Security.
percentage every month until they catch up, or?
You'd probably have to write them a check for all the benefits you took. Yep. Probably with inflation or something on top of
Just
it.
more money.
Okay, so let's look at Frank and Ellen again, but this time instead of Frank earning $2,200 and Ellen earning only $600 from her PIA, her primary insurance amount, when she's 66 at her full retirement age. Let's say they're closer. Let's say they were both teachers or something like that. So Frank's earning $2,200 again. Ellen's earning $2,000 now when she's 66 if she takes Social Security. So here's another strategy they can do to maximize their benefits. At full retirement age, Frank can file and suspend again. So files for Social Security, suspends it, doesn't get it. But this allows Ellen to collect a spousal benefit. So Ellen goes, okay, I'm going to file for a spousal benefit. And so she's going to get $1,100 per month at full retirement age. So everybody's probably going, wait, she's only getting $1,100 a month when she could be getting $2,000 a month right now if she wants. That's true. Hang on with me a little bit longer and you'll see where the beauty of this one is. Frank hits age 70. He begins taking his individual benefit. Again, the same thing, $2,904 per month. Now Ellen hits age 70. She switches to her, so she turns her benefit on. So she's off spousal now. So now her benefit, $2,000, if she waited till 70, becomes $2,640 per month. So this is a strategy where they say, okay, we're both our family histories are good, we're in great health, we think we're going to live a long time. How do we get the most amount of money in our 70s and 80s and potentially 90s? How do we maximize that monthly check? They maximized it because Ellen didn't touch this amount at her full retirement age. She took the spousal benefit that gave her less per month then and allowed this amount to continue to grow until she was age 70. And then they each were able to take more than their full retirement age. So this allowed Ellen to at least get some money at full retirement age, while giving her the flexibility to continue to grow her Social Security.
Good question on that too.
Yeah.
If she's taking half of her spousal, or, you know, the spousal benefit.
Yep.
And not filing her own, can she still work, or do the income limits apply as well?
Oh, good question. So since it's at full retirement age, once you go past it, she should be fine. Yep. And then let's say Frank passed away before Ellen again. She can still switch over to his higher survivor benefit of $2,904 per month. So if the higher earning spouse, the higher earning Social Security spouse passes away first, you almost invariably want to switch over to get their check instead of yours. Okay, so this is once again describing what they did in text. How it helps, Ellen's getting full spousal benefits while still maximizing her and Frank's benefits until they're 70, like I mentioned. Some people call it the two high earner strategy. That's some industry jargon. The key here, though, the thing you have to notice is they were able to get a benefit while both still maximizing their individual benefits until they were age 70, because they thought they were going to live past that 82.5-year break point. And then the longer each spouse lives, the more advantageous this strategy becomes. Once again, showing the graphical representation, you can see boosted from $829,650 if they both are at 62, all the way up to $980,000. So $150,000 difference just by using a good strategy. 1.3 million effectively compared to $1 million, $300,000 difference if Frank lived to 85 and Ellen lived to 92. So we're talking about large amounts of money. And this is $300,000 that once they got to age 70, they don't have to take off their investments, so their investments can hopefully grow, and then their kids can get more. They can gift to charities, whatever their goals may be that they can use. So kind of cool. Okay, general rules for survivor benefits. Once again, broad-based generalization. Surviving spouse can get up to 100% of the deceased spouse's benefit. Okay, so once the higher earning spouse passes, you almost always want to switch over to get their benefit then. Except in the case of an accident, the couple must have been married at least 9 months at time of death. So if for one reason one of them passed away after only 6 months because it was an accident, then they would still be eligible to do the spousal benefits. Survivor gets full benefit at full retirement age, must be at least 60, 50 if disabled, here you go, for a reduced benefit. Okay. Benefits not available if surviving spouse remarries before age 60. So if you remarry before 60, that shuts off the spousal benefits if the surviving spouse. Finally, divorced spouse can claim survivor benefit on ex-spouse. So if you're divorced but your ex-spouse passed away, if your marriage lasted at least 10 years, you could claim that, and then you would have that higher amount if the spouse who passed away earned a higher amount than you did for Social Security. Okay, we're just about there. Some basic tax considerations to look at. Government wants to even tax your own programs. So if you're deriving income in addition to Social Security, you're going to have to pay more federal income taxes. So if you're working and taking a check at the same time, this will apply to you. So if you're doing an individual tax return and your combined income falls in this range or over this range, this is the taxable effects. 50% of benefits are taxable if you earn 25 to 34. Up to 85% of benefits may be taxable if you earn over 34,000. So if you're a high earner, it really pays to wait on taking Social Security. If you're filing jointly, it's the same concept, just higher amounts. Medicare.
Considered
Yeah.
high income couple combined. Is that on the graph? Or?
Yeah, if you're filing jointly,
Yeah,
if you're
fine.
filing jointly, if your income's between 32,000 and 44,000, up to 50% of your benefits can be taxable. If you're over 44,000, up to 85% can be taxable. Okay. Quick word about Medicare. Medicare, if you don't know, you automatically qualify it. On the first day of the first month, you turn age 65. My birthday is December 6th. December 1st of the time I would turn 65, I'm eligible for Medicare. You're enrolled in Part A and B automatically once you're 65 and older and you receive Social Security benefits. You can get out of Part B if you don't want those premiums taken out of your check, but you have to opt out of it because you're enrolled in it automatically. If you're taking Social Security benefits at 62, once you get to 65, they're going to auto-enroll you in those things. That's what that's saying. Okay, and then Medicare.gov is the website to learn more about that. To be honest, the U.S. faces a much more difficult proposition with Medicare and Medicaid than Social Security in terms of deficit. If you look at a graph of the Social Security deficit and it grows kind of like this, Medicare kind of goes like this because health insurance is so much, people are living so much longer, they're getting more surgeries and things of that nature. That's for a different time. So quick recap over what we did. So Social Security and what it means to you, got a little background on it. We went over some common questions that people have, and then the strategies to maximize benefits, which hopefully were eye-opening on why. Go find an expert, whether it's at the Social Security Administration or your own financial advisor or whatnot, because you're talking anywhere from, we saw $300,000 to $600,000 you could be saving by choosing the proper strategy. And with that, thanks for coming. Do we have any final questions? Yeah.
You should have added that 50% tax rate on those, how much you actually earn, because that's really gonna make a difference. If you stay down lower, then you're not paying the 50%.
And that's if you're working while taking Social Security.
Oh, working?
Yep,
Oh, okay.
working while taking. Yep. All right. Well, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.